Here's the intro. Just finished the vlog. Forgot to mention this. Should mention at the start because some of you will care. So Scarf was in an accident 2 months ago. Car accident. Plowed my ass real hard from behind. Not great. And so it led to back issues. And now I've done an MRI. And the MRI has shown I have not one, but 2 herniated discs. So F me. There's your intro. Jesus. I'm all out of drumsticks, so I guess I'm just gonna have to wing it. It's me saying I have no idea what the hell we're gonna vlog today. But also, hello! I use this gun too much. There's the opener. Welcome, friends! LostScarf here, and it's time for the vlog, and I got nothing to talk about, so we'll just go off the cuff and see what happens here, because I don't know. What's been happening politically? Real quick, the Sword and Shield giveaway is going. There is a copy for Sword and a copy for Shield on Gleam, so enter there for your chance to win a copy of Sword or Shield. I'm going to give away 1 of each. I'm going to give away like 6 copies when the game comes out. It's going to be for me, then for friends, and then the community. There's a bunch of giveaways going to happen. And then the Switch is going to happen in December. Don't know about any other giveaways I want to do besides those 2 right now. I'll share the ones open. Channel stuff, just more LPs. LPs are going, they're getting done. TFT Season 2 is almost here, so I've been preparing for Set 2 on the side channel, putting a bunch of other content on the side channel. We're looking at indies again, and since we're dying down on LPs right now, I'm able to just focus on indies for a little bit. Though I'm tempted to do Outer Worlds. You can get Outer Worlds on Epic or on Windows. Right now, I'm waiting to see if Outer Worlds is going to give me a free copy because I have those connections. Sometimes I do get the free copies of big games like that. We get big games sometimes, like Dragon Quest or actually Namco, not Namco. Whoever is head of Dragon Quest, I get all their games. I get every Dragon Quest game so far. That's pretty nice. I've gotten some games from Square because we have Life is Strange 2. I need to cover that at some point. And then random indies we've gotten quite a few of. And got opinions on different games. Finally played Noida. Oh my god, Noida's pretty addicting. I can't stop playing it, so there will be a one-shot of that for sure. I've been playing so much my hand's cramping up now. That's not good. It's really not good to have that. You never want that, especially as a gamer. Or in general, anyone who uses a mouse. That's not great. Yeah, just done with the channel. I can't think of any good topic to talk about. Politics are politics as always. Things are just happening in so many things. I am curious, is it better or worse, honestly, that the impeachments, all the hearings have been in private? In private, it has the whole people think the fix is in. That's the problem with that. But in public, there'd be so much spinning and they would say the fix is in anyway. So, I don't know. I think they really need the testimonies to not get colored. For sure. That's one thing. So they need that. And so hopefully they get through that very quickly so that they can then do public. And then all that comes out and then we can see all that stuff and then we're good like that. But right now, people think the fix is in. Which is really just, no. I think you're blind if you haven't seen Trump has been doing a lot of bullshit. A lot of bullshit that have gotten other presidents in trouble a lot sooner. But not this president because Trump is kind of ridiculous. We're in a ridiculous time. I just know history will not look at us kindly when the time comes. Like 10, 20, whatever years, history will not look at us kindly. It will not at all. And holy crap. What more can be said about the Hong Kong situation? The bill has been finally taken out, but it's too little too late at this point. There's so much more the topics are about at this point. If they just took away that bill earlier, who knows how things would have gone from there. But it's too little too late now, and things are just going to get crazier in Hong Kong for sure. NBA being called a Chinese, I can't remember the exact words, but saying that basically the NBA is China's now. Mike Pence saying that, ooh, that's a hit. Really curious to see what happens out of that. Shaq standing up for the guy who started the whole thing with the Hong Kong stuff. He's like, I believe what he says, like it's true and all that. Like, I stand with him on that. It's like, yeah, okay. Alright, like, what does Shaq have to lose? Like, he not make more money with the NBA, I guess, but he's probably got plenty of money already, so what does he care, I guess? And that's the thing, when you're in a position where you don't need to worry, and you can actually say what you believe, that's pretty good. So, good on Shaq on that. Of course, you got the people who have plenty to lose, what can they say? And that's the whole thing, it's like, well, what do you do? because was it Trump put Steve Kerr on the spot? I think I said this before. Trump put Steve Kerr on the spot, and for Steve Kerr, it's if he says too much and gets in trouble with the NBA, then everything he's worked towards doesn't work out. Because domestically, he has some pull domestically. With the U.S., he can say some things and it works out. Whatever he says about Hong Kong will not do anything to change China's mind. Will not do anything on the world stage. And that's the thing to weigh, is he could say things and people will be happy that he said these things, but it doesn't actually affect change. Things he says here might, but if his voice gets silenced before then that's all he can. There's no more he can do. Same thing goes for like Harden and all the other ones. Was it Harden? I think it was Harden. All of a sudden, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Harden. Because someone's like, if you're not willing to speak on Hong Kong, how can you say anything about social justice in the U.S.? And yeah, that's a tough spot to be put in. And or was it Artest? No, I think it was Harden. But yeah, that's the thing is, what can an American saying anything about another country, what can that really do? And to an extent, it really depends on how much of a celebrity you are, because it can have some pull, and at least for the people in Hong Kong or people who believe in what Hong Kong is doing with the protests, it gives them some morale boost for sure. But I think silence doesn't do much against them anyway, because they're fighting for what they're fighting for. Personally, for me, I think Hong Kong's screwed, because China gets them anyway in 30, 40 years. They're only going to have autonomy for so long, then they get taken. The hope from all these protests is to somehow convince the world stage to make China back the hell off. But ultimately, China's going to take Hong Kong. Ultimately, China's going to take everything. They've been playing the slow game for decades, so they're going to be in a very good position going forward. The next century is going to be China's or Russia's, or both if they work together. It's really what it's going to be. There's no way around that. China just has so much economic power, so much economic pull, they can just do so much. They've been used as a boogeyman by the U.S. plenty, because part of it is deserved and part of it is just to keep power. Because like the trade war with China ain't really doing anything. It's not. All it's doing is hurting us. It's hurting the smaller guys. Because farmers have to do, they've been, subsidizing? They've been paying farmers money because farmers would be killed by what China's been doing. And then the rest of us, the consumers, middle and lower class, we have to pay more for appliances and everything, because that's where the cost it's hitting us. It's not hitting the higher ups, it's hitting us because of the trade war. China's not suffering because we owe how much money to China? They're not suffering at all. They can rely on a lot of things to keep going, while we're just paying for it. The trade war is a sham, and it hurts us more than anything. And if you think it's helping us, what the hell are you reading? What the hell are you watching? Because China's got us pretty well, because we just got put in a bad spot. And we're putting ourselves in a worse spot. So much. Trump is hurting everyone he's been trying to help. It's the craziest thing. But perception is reality. And because of that, it doesn't look like Trump's messing up. But he is hurting a lot of companies. He's hurt coal. He's hurt steel. He's just hurting everyone around him. It's really bad to be with Trump. It's a lot of people struggling through that. And it's kind of amazing at the same time how much just his base believes in him. It's really ridiculous. It's just crazy. At the same time, though, what's the left doing? There's a lot of cannibalization on the left. And there's a lot of who knows whether or not we have Russian assets. Because at the end of the day, if you're Russia, you don't just want the right to win. You want the left to win through a lot of confusion. Because then it becomes, who do you trust? And then the government's in an even worse spot. As if they only wanted the right. They just want to cause as much mayhem as they can. And it's working. It's not good for us. A big problem is I feel like the US has become increasingly apathetic. We really have. And it's also, it's apathetic, but also a want to find a target to hate, to find a target to blame. And it's not just the right, the left does it too. And people in general do it. We all are looking for villains to strike at. We all are, because we want to feel better about ourselves. It's just how it is. But there's so many stupid conclusions we jump to when we look for enemies. Very unfortunate. That's just a general thing. It's a very general statement I'm saying there. There's a lot of boogeymen we create for a bunch of different things. Remember the death panels about when it was all the talk about medical care and all that, universal health care? The death panels that stupidity and the fact it worked. Oh, here's the one that's amazing is Obamacare. It's just what? It's the ACA. It's Trump. Like, Obama took Mitt Romney's idea and ran with it, and it became Obama's thing somehow. It's amazing. It is amazing what labeling can do, what perception can do for reality. And now it's time to get in trouble because I was thinking about this because I was talking with my coworker last night. It's about another coworker. And he was just okay. My coworkers are there's me, half Mexican, half Filipino. There's a Japanese dude. There's a full Filipino dude. Black dude, black lady, white dude, white dude, white dude. So 3 white dudes. The higher up, the supervisor's a white dude, the senior's a white dude. One's Irish, I forget what the other guy is. It's like a bunch of white people. All the mechanics are all Mexican, and then their supervisor's black. So we've got a lot of mix there. We don't have everything, obviously. You got the Asian, you got the white, you got Mexican, you got blacks, you got a bunch of those, but we don't have any. Don't have like Indian and things like that. Now, the further going further out, we've got Egyptians in the crew. We've got Somali. We got what is he? He is a thing. We got Lebanese. So we got a good mixture of people in the plants. And the plant ourselves is just white, Asian, Mexican, black. Pretty much. And different kinds of Asians. You got Filipinos and you got Japanese. Which you could argue just Islanders instead of Asian. But that's just splitting hairs to hurt us all. So one of the white dudes was telling me he's having a lot of back problems, and I have a lot of back problems too, so we've been talking about that. And he was talking about one of our coworkers. He was just talking about his back problems, and then she brought up, yeah, he was talking about how he's got back pain. She's like, oh yeah, my people know pain. And he was like, huh? What? Why are we talking about race all of a sudden? And it's a very weird thing. Now, this isn't just about black people. This is about something I've noticed with certain people, and that is they find something that isn't necessarily about them, but their background as a means of, I don't know. I really don't. It's either a cultural thing or a racial thing. It's one of these kind of things. Where for her, it's the sticking point is because she's black. And so her people have suffered. And my reaction to that is we've all suffered. All of our cultures have some sort of suffering going on. Like we can go for, well, the Mexicans, what happened to the Mexicans, or the Aztecs and what happened to them when Spain came over and all the crap they did to them. I used to joke in high school and college that I'm half Filipino, half Mexican, which means I got effed from both sides by the Spanish. I used to joke about that because that's what happened. Spain went to the Philippines, they did a bunch of stuff over there. Spain went to Mexico, or South America, Central America, did a bunch of stuff over there. Spain did not do great things to either side. A lot of suffering in the past for my people. Black people, same thing. You've got slavery, you've got more recent things with like Jim Crow and other things like that. It's not like white people have always had it great. And like Irish had some bad times back in the day. Italians had it bad back in the day. Like they've become white. They used to be treated as not white before. And then you've got the Jews, depending on where you sit with them, you either think they're white or not. I always thought they were white for the longest time when I was young. But they're from, well, Middle East and all that. And they've suffered plenty too. I've never met a Jew who complained about it. But it's not just that. There's also, it can also be cultural, where it's people from certain segments of the world, they went through a lot of crap and suffering, so it's like, this is their not origin, but just, this is their source of, well, my people suffered in this way, from this area, or just a neighborhood has suffered, or things like that. Like, it's always been like, I'm from the streets, and I'm from the ghetto, and things like that. I've heard that before, and that annoys me as well. That irks me. Okay, I get irked by this. I get irked by, I'm from the streets, I'm a guy from the streets, I'm from the ghetto, I do things like this and that because of this and that. This is what defines me. It annoys me because I grew up in the poorest neighborhoods. I grew up in those places, and that is not my identifier. I don't like, I'm from the streets. I don't do that. And so I find it annoying because I don't think that's what should define you. I don't think the things that have happened to my people should be what defines me because it didn't happen to me. I have had prejudice done against me before based on my race. I've had that. Based on the color of my skin and how I look. I've had that. But I don't use that to put a chip on my shoulder. I think that's really what I'm angry about. Not angry, but just arguing against is having a chip on your shoulder. I think about yeah, I think that's it. And this goes actually deeper, not just about her, but other people in our department who in our area that's like this as well. Is they get a chip on their shoulder, and people who have no reason to get hit are the ones getting hit. Because for him, she kept like every time he has a conversation with her, she keeps bringing up race and making it sound like it's his fault. Is how he feels, and so he doesn't want to talk to her anymore. And so that's just making the workplace more miserable, which is very unfortunate. And she's not the only one. There's other ones who play it like that as well, who just are taking on people who don't deserve it at all, who have nothing to do with why they have a chip on their shoulder. And I think that's really the center of what I'm more annoyed about is taking it out on strangers. Taking it out on people who did not earn the condemnation you're giving them. That's really there's the walk. There's the walk right there. That's what I'm more annoyed about is that the chip on your shoulder because of things that have happened to you or things that have happened to your people. Yeah, and my argument to that is yeah, we've all suffered. We've all have had injustice done to us or our people. We've all had that. So why are we hitting each other? Is what annoys me, I think. I think the best analogy is why we're all being a bunch of crabs. Because what we've seen is with crabs is like there's a bunch of crabs in a bucket and they'll try to climb out, and when they get close to the edge, one of the lower crabs will grab them and pull them back. It's a very not cool thing that crabs do. Very, very spiteful. I think that's just something that's been on my mind because that was a conversation from last night where he's like, he just doesn't want to talk to her anymore because every time they talk, she brings up race and gets mad about something. And it's very weird to him. And yeah, it's weird to me too because I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of being prejudiced against, of course, but I'm not a fan of also just putting that on other people who didn't deserve it at all. There are higher ups at my job who make it a point to make people in my position miserable because they were miserable in my position. They think that's everyone needs to earn their licks that way. And I think they can go F themselves. Because I'm not going to do that. When I hit the higher up position, I ain't doing that because I know what it was like down there. So my entire job is to make sure it's just easier there. Because if it's easier for them, it's easier for me because I'm watching their ass. If they're all miserable and getting vindictive out of it, it's just making it miserable for everyone else. This is a logic I don't understand. The logic of, it was tough for me, so I'm going to make it shit for the next person. And it's also a generational thing. It's the whole, it's funny, but it's also not in that millennials have had to deal with boomers being really shit to them for years. And not just boomers, but the older generation. And also just how innocuous millennials have been treated. Because millennials are in their 30s now. And so it's getting really annoying. They're like these millennials, and then one in five millennials has $100,000 in their savings, and somehow that's being seen as what? What exactly? Fiscally, finally, some of them are able to pull off $100,000 in savings. That's a good thing. Millennials are killing all these things because they're not spending money because they don't have any money. Millennials are killing diamonds because they don't want to waste money on diamonds when they're barely surviving. So the joke is millennials can't wait to crap on the next generation. And I wonder if they will. I'm curious about that. By the way, different thing. Just the older generations, like the new generations are soft. They're just so soft now. They have less testosterone. They have this and that. Who did that? Who are the parents of millennials? Who are the parents that made the next generation softer? Who did that? Who gave them the trophies? It wasn't the millennials themselves. It was the older generations. They did it themselves. Whatever they're mad about, they did it. That's what I'm confused about. Because the older generations raised the next generations. So whatever they did to them is what comes out of it. Anytime a parent says, I did not raise you to be this or that, it doesn't make any sense because you're the one who raised them. You did it. There is, of course, nature versus nurture and all that, but you still had a hand in it. And at the end of the day, no matter what your child becomes, you had a hand in that. You may have had intentions, but at the end of the day, the results are the results, whether you like it or not. And so I just get annoyed with boomers. And I really, really, really get annoyed with my family. Because they talk so much shit about millennials, and I'm in the room, and I'm like, I've got the job, I've got savings, I got all these things, I've done all the things you're mad about. I've fought against all those things. I'm the only millennial example you've got. Where are you guys bitching from? It's from TV, I guess, or something. Very weird, very frustrating, very annoying. In general, I have a lot of annoyance with just the hate speak towards something. And it's not actually the thing. It's just all perception and reality. That's all it is. This belief that millennials are lazy and all this, and they're not. There are younger generations that are not as prepared as older generations, and I feel it's the older generation's fault. It's either if they don't understand something, or there is too much coddling for sure for some things. Like there's always those stories. There's a story of that girl who has always like, what was that writing story? It was she misspells some word because that's just how it sounds to her, so she's always misspelled it. And she's trying to work in some writing company, and they're like, no, that's not spelled correctly, but like that's how I've always spelled it. Well, that's not spelled correctly. You got to spell it correctly. And then she calls her mom, and for her mom to give her support and everything. And then her mom's like, yeah, they're an idiot and everything. We'll just call their supervisor, their boss, and we'll get them in trouble and things like that. It's like, no, you can't coddle that. There are things you should support, but you can't support stupidity. You can't support dumb things like that. Because that person's dead in the water once that parent's gone. They got no one to watch their back. And that's the older generation's fault there. That's not... The youngest problem is, like, there's some fault there as well, because they could have recognized and gotten out of that, I guess, but it's the parents' fault. It's definitely the parents' fault for not raising their kid to be more independent and be able to handle that situation. But it's also society's fault in some ways. We should be teaching taxes in high school, because not everyone goes to college. High school senior year, we should be teaching taxes. We should be teaching retirement. We should be teaching just how mortgages work, how all these things work. We should be teaching how politics works. Just teaching a student how to register to vote would be great for sure. Because not everyone knows how to register to vote. That's a barrier. That is a barrier for some. They don't know how to vote, so they don't vote. Very frustrating. This got really ranty. I have been ill-prepared for so many things. I did not understand how loans work. I did not understand... Yeah, it took me a long time to learn how loans work. So I got some of the worst loans possible, because I did not know. I did not understand. Nobody was watching for what I owed, at worst, $50,000, $60,000 on my student loans. I'm down to maybe 30... I have my papers somewhere. I'm like 30, 35,000 now. Working them down. I'm refinancing these damn things. I wish I knew about refinancing a long time ago. I wish I knew to recognize interest and principal and all that crap, because I found one of my damn loans was giving me the minimum payment was lower than the interest, which means I was never bringing the loan down. I feel like that should be freaking illegal, by the way. That ain't right. That should not be right. You should always be pushing into the principal more than just paying interest. And so that was happening. I finally refinanced that. Went from a really awful 12.5 down to an 8. That was a real bad loan. Wish I knew how bad it was. I wish someone taught me. Wish I had some idea. I had no idea. It was just everyone's just saying, get the loans, you'll pay them off later. That's all people would say. But they did not advise on how bad a loan could get, on just percentages and things like that, how they actually worked. And I didn't understand. So I'm like, well, they said this, so I'll just go with that. And I got burned really hard for that. I wish that was taught. I don't understand anything about mortgages and all that because I'm going to be looking to buy a house soon. And I have to study up on all that. Got to really study up on that because I have no freaking idea. Retirement, I'm still figuring out right now. I'm opening up a Roth IRA soon. Apparently, I was supposed to open one up like 1 or 2 years ago. I had no idea. I was at the point where I'm doing fine enough on my 401 that I should be doing a Roth. I wish I knew that sooner because that's 2 years I missed out on. There are things that society could do better on. There are things that parents could do better on. In general, things that could be done better on. Random thing, I hate those ads. They're like, men are getting softer. There's not enough testosterone. And it's different things. One is just diets changed. And one is we're not doing as much manual labor anymore. Manual labor brings up testosterone levels. We're not doing as much manual labor. It's a lot more type and all that kind of stuff. Not doing as much manual. Machines are doing that now. And so that brings down the testosterone level. Not as many soldiers. That brings down testosterone level. Eating habits have changed. Brings down testosterone level. Like, woof. But what's weird is plenty of Americans go to the gyms. I figure that'd bring it up a bit too. That's enough ranting. That's enough ranting. So that right there is the vlog. Next week is my state exam, so I'll probably do the vlog before it. I'll see. Got a state exam. I got to study for it. Oh God. This hair is getting cut. Either next week or right after. This is gonna get cut. It's gonna be about this length by Comic-Con, and is this enough to do Deku? That's the vlog. I had fun talking, I guess. I was ranting quite a bit. So what happens? What happens? Life is ranty. My thing is, I don't like when people bitch too much, so I don't want to bitch too much myself, but there are times when you need to just bitch, I guess. It's just when bitching is your entire identity, that's when I don't like it, I think. Probably that. But that's it. That's the vlog. Thanks for coming. I had fun. Hope you're watching. That was all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.